In 2023, actors went on strike for 118 days. They fought for one thing above everything else: protection from AI. They got a deal. They went home. Studios called it a win for everyone. Here's what nobody told you. While actors were celebrating that deal, three companies quietly filed patents, signed contracts, and started building the infrastructure to replace them anyway. And the money? It's already flowing, just not to the people you think. Today, we're following the money because this isn't really a story about technology. It's a story about who owns the future of performance and who gets cut out entirely. Let's start with the 2023 SAG FTRA strike because most people think this story has a happy ending. After 118 days, actors secured what the union called the most comprehensive AI protection in entertainment history. Studios had to get consent before scanning an actor's likeness. They had to pay for its use. Actors own their digital selves, except they don't. Not really. Here's the loophole nobody talks about. Those protections apply to union members, working actors, people already in the system, background performers, the thousands of extras who fill every crowd scene, every restaurant, every battlefield. They got a one time buyout clause. Studios can scan them once, pay them a single session fee, and then use that likeness forever in anything without asking again. And that's not even the biggest loophole. The protection only covers SAG AFTRA productions. Independent studios, international productions, YouTube originals, streaming platforms headquartered outside the USA, entirely different rules, or no rules at all. The union won a battle, the war is still being decided, and right now it's being decided by people who were never at the negotiating table. So, who are these people? Let's talk about the companies sitting between Hollywood and the actors. The first layers is the AI studios. Companies like Runaway, Stability AI, 11 Labs, and a dozen others you've never heard of. They don't make movies, they sell the tools that make movies cheaper. And right now, they are the hottest investment category in Silicon Valley. Runaway alone raised over $450 million. Why? Because every major studio is their potential customer. But here's where it gets interesting. The studio doesn't just want to license this technology, they want to own it. Disney has filed patents related to AI generated characters likeness. Sony has an internal AI division. Netflix has been quietly funding AI research since 2021. The goal isn't to replace actors with some outside AI. The goal is to build their own AI, trained on their own content libraries, so they never have to pay a third party either. Think about what Disney owns. Every frame of every Marvel film, every animated Disney movie ever made, decades of facial performance, voice movement data. That's not just a content library anymore. That's a training data set. Now let's talk about the A-listers because they're not victims here, at least not yet. The biggest stars in Hollywood have already started cutting AI deals on their own terms, and the numbers are staggering. We're talking about contracts where a top actor signs over limited AI rights for a specific project and walks away with an eight-figure fee, doing nothing. Their likeness does the work. They cash the checks. Tom Hanks has publicly disclosed the possibility of his likeness performing after he's gone, and he's not opposed. He wants control and compensation, fair enough. A-listers get to negotiate. They have agents, lawyers, leverage. They can say no. They can set prices. The mid-tier actors, the working professionals making $80,000 a year, doing free TV guest spots and a regional commercial, they have almost no leverage. Their union protection are real, but limited. Their individual bargaining power is close to zero. And the result is a Hollywood that's starting to look like a music industry circa 2005, where the superstars got richer, the middle class collapsed, and the labels quietly took everything else. Here's the part of the story that gets almost no coverage behind every AI company disrupting Hollywood. There's a cap table, a list of who actually owns it, And when you look at those lists, you see the same names over and over. Large institutional investors, sovereign wealth funds, the same venture capital firms that funded Uber, Airbnb, and every other disruption. That promised to help workers and mostly helped shareholders. Let me be specific. Andreessen Horowitz, one of the most powerful VC firms in Silicon Valley, has investments in AI companies that directly compete with Hollywood labor. They also publicly argue that AI regulation hurts innovation and that the market should sort it out. They're not wrong, they're just quiet about who benefits when they do. The structure here is not new. It's the same structure as every major technological shift. Those who own the infrastructure make money regardless of what gets made. Those who create the content are the variable cost to be minimized. Right now, the variable cost is actors, directors, writers, below the line crew. The goal of every investor in the space is simple: reduce the cost of producing entertainment to near zero. That's not a cynicism, that's the pitch deck. Now, here's the part that implicates all of us, including you. There's a quiet assumption running through every conversation about AI in Hollywood. That audience won't care. And honestly, so far, the data suggests they might be right. AI assisted visual effects have been in blockbusters for years. The de-aged Robert De Niro in The Irishman, the resurrected Peter Cushing in Rogue One, the fully digital Tom Hanks in The Polar Express. Audiences watched, audiences paid, some complained online. The movies made money. The economic logic for studios is brutal and simple. If you can't tell the difference, you won't pay a premium for the real thing. And that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy if audiences accept AI-generated performances. Studios will make more of them. If they make more of them, the budget for human actors shrink. If that budget shrinks, fewer actors can sustain careers. If few actors can sustain careers, get less of the raw human experience that made US love movies in the first place. It's not a cliff, it's a slope, and we're already on it. So let's answer the question: who actually profits when AI replaces actors? First, infrastructure owners, the AI companies and their investors who get paid whether a movie is good or bad, whether it stars a human or a digital ghost. Second, the mega studios with IP libraries, because those libraries are now training data, and training data is worth more than anyone on Wall Street is telling you right now. Third, the top 1% of talent, the A-listers who have enough leverage to negotiate and get paid for their likeness, whether or not they show up to set. Who loses? Working actors, mid-tier talent, background performers, voice actors, who already are being replaced right now in video games and animation. Crews whose jobs exist because productions need human on set, and eventually, in a way, that's harder to quantify audiences, because the thing that makes a performance resonate isn't the face, it's the 40 years of lived experience behind it. The heartbreak, the joy, the specific, unrepeatable humanness. You can simulate that. You can't replicate it. Look, this isn't a story about AI being evil. Technology isn't evil, but money flows in specific directions. Power concentrates in specific hands. And right now, the people making the decisions about the future of performance are not actors. They're not directors. They're not even really movie people. They're investors. They're engineers. They're patent lawyers. The question isn't whether AI changes Hollywood. It already has. The question is whether the people who built Hollywood with their faces, their voices, their craft get a seat at the table when the profits are divided. Right now, the answer is mostly no. If you think that matters, share this, because the conversation happening in boardrooms right now, it's moving a lot faster than the one happening everywhere else. I'll see you in the next one.